Alright, so the previous part I made the basic state machine just with test state, but today I'm gonna initialize the basic states. So start by adding the player movement state. It inherits from the player state. Let's move this to the state machine player state base. But here we need to inherit from the we need to override the initialize player state. Add I guess I'll be working with the rigid body. Okay. Player rigid body. And the player rigid body will be equals to the player virtual components dot player rigid body. And on the fixed update, I'll be getting the player rigid body dot velocity is equals actually I need the input, so I'll be just adding vector 2 dot right time dot fixed delta. I also need to add inputs. Okay. Let me add the inputs. Players, scripts, inputs, and let's create the input action, player input actions, action map for the player, and movement will be axis, just need negative and positive. So we adding right here. AD, negative will be A, positive will be D. All right, close this. Now I need to add I'll be adding the player inputs controller. Okay. Using engine.input system. Move this to the entities. Okay. You can also add this to the player. Okay. So right here I can add the player input component. I can just reference the input asset, the input key. I guess I'll be using the player input component. So type of player input. Here I can just private void on movement and use the context because this will be sending messages. So I can just public vector 2 player movement input value, get private set, and just read the value right here. All right. Now I can just add right here and give the player input actions. We'll be sending messages to the on movement. Okay. Now I can just read this value on the player movement state. So let's go back to the player crucial components. I'll be renaming this the player components reference. Guess that's better name. That's awake. There is the body. Get component. Where's the body? Oh, where's the body? And the same thing to the player inputs. Okay. Now let's just use private player inputs controller. Player inputs controller. And I need to change this to the oh wait, go back here. Okay. And I can just actually use this to avoid importing all the namespace. All right. I can just multiply this vector. Time. Remove this. Okay. Time dot fixed delta time times uh where's there's the machine parameters dot movement speed. And now just multiply it by vector 2 dot right. All right. Guess it's working. Or I can just do the same thing. All right. the player test state, I can just delete this. And also delete the player test state right here. Okay. Uh, and also the player movement state, I need to create asset menu. File name will be PlayerMovementState. Menu name will be StateMachine player states and the player movement state. Let's just add the player movement state. Okay. Now let's just add the player idle state. Player state base. Player. Override on enter. Override initialize. And now we just need to get the rigid body. And right here on enter, I can just player rigid body velocity is equals vector 2.0. Okay. All right. Now I got these states, but I need to change between them. But the default state will be the, let's also add the script table object. Copy this, paste right here, idle, and don't forget to add the select class because it doesn't need to be inherited from this class, cannot be inherited by any other class, so I can just add this. Okay. Now I think it's good. Let's add the script table object. For idle state. And now I can just add right here. Now on the player state machine, let's add the idle and movement. If I press play, nothing happens because I don't have any transition and also any rigid body. So I'll be working on the transitions right now. Player state machine. Let's add transitions. scripts. Oh, and right here I'll be adding the first transition will be is moving. Um, yeah, I guess it's okay. Let's inherit from the transition. What was the name? Transition condition. Okay. Right here, I need to check if the rigid body is moving. So, I guess that would be. I actually need another, uh, like private rigid body. Uh, like here's to check turn. Rigid body check dot velocity. It also needs to be on the X value. I actually wanted to reuse this, but I guess I can't. I need to create another specialized version, and that's what I'm going to do. Okay, let's add right player. What was the name? Transition condition base on the behavior abstract. There will be just one method: public virtual void initialize player transition, getting the player components reference. So using components reference. Okay, I just need to assign right here. Now, I don't think I guess I don't need another state machine states, or maybe, but let me just add the player transitions condition base. This action is inherited from the transition condition base. Okay. Add, override, and get the reference. Uh, I don't actually need to cache this. Just remove. And actually make this abstract. Okay. Remove. All right. So now let's just add the player right here. Where's the back to empty? And I think I need to also create another script to initialize all these transitions. So yeah, let's do that. Like the same thing right here. Or I could just guess I can just initialize once I get the reference. Let me check. Is moving. And once I create that movement state using the is moving. So I could just use the player state and access all the states, but I guess that would initialize some states twice or more. So just create another one. Like this. StateMachine states. Player state machine transitions. Add seal it. All right. This will be a scriptable object, of course. And I just need to get um, field, serialized field, public player transition state condition player states transitions. Okay, it actually needs to be a property. All right, let me just get that. Okay, so now you can just get all the states. I forgot to add right here. I'm doing this because I don't want to initialize a lot of states, because transitions can just have multiple states. I could just add a bool, but I guess this way is much better. So just be adding state machine transitions. And all the player transitions. This one. Okay. Now I can just initialize player tra states transitions. And for each player transition, state transition, and player state machine transitions dot player state transitions. I can just initialize the player plus the components. All right. Gonna use awake, initialize right here. Okay. I guess that's good. State machine transitions. And also need to add a rigid body. I could just use core component, but for now, just do like this. And I got the new reference. on the player idle state so is moving. Am I getting the component? I guess it's because there's a component reference. Oh, it should be working. That's weird. Uh, why is getting no reference? Is moving. There's state machine. Check condition. Check right here. Alright, so after a few changes, I got the movement. So what I made was actually calling this fixed update and right here on the fixed update, I also where's the rename it this to the player's trying to move. This was is moving condition, but now it's trying to move, and it's just reading the correct input to check if it's not approximately uh, equals to 0. If it's not, we are trying to move. Okay. Um, Now instead of each body, we're getting the inputs, and here on the inputs, we can't when using uh, messages, broad messages, we can't actually use the input action context. We need to use the input value and also the float. I was using the vector too. Alright, so yeah, that's all we need. There is nothing more. So after that, it's just that, just the state machine, the states, components reference, scriptable objects, and the transitions. Right? If we press play, we are actually moving. Let me just parameters. It's 20. It's pretty slow, but it's moving. Alright. Now, one thing that I want to do is control the animation. So what I'm going to do is just go on the states, idle state, and we need a reference to the animator, player animator. player reference, player animator, and also just create private const string player idle animation state animator string to hash so that it's more uh, it's faster using ints than strings when using animator. So let's just use the player standing idle. Oh, it's actually int. Alright, and this action is to be read only because it's generated on runtime. It's not const. Alright, now on enter, we can just use player animator dot play player idle animation state. Okay, and do the same thing here. Player animator and play. Override on enter and just play the state. Player, rename this. Alright, and right here, just need to get the animator. Okay, and change this to instead of standing idle, use player running animation. Guess that's the name. No, just running. Alright, and also instead of getting component, I'm going to get components in children. Alright, now it will work. Press play. Alright, so I fixed the no reference exception by just changing the script execution order by making the player components reference initialized before the state machine. And I also just move from start to awake right here, the state machine base. Now it's working. See right here. It's playing, switching between the idle and the moving state. Alright, so now I need to rotate the player because it's not rotated like this, just facing right. So I create another folder, controllers, player, rotation controller, make this seal it, okay. Need a reference to the player input, controller. Let's cache this player input controller, get component, player input controller. Alright. Oh, wait, you get need to get the private turn target rotation. And right here, I'm just swarm the local rotation plus target rotation. Alright, now I can check if my put is greater than 0. My target rotation will be internal edit. Uh, else my target rotation internal color 0, 8, and 0. And then I just apply. Else if actually is less than 0. And I'll actually create another method. Private might not get target rotation. Put this right here. Return it. And now it's less. It is. Else we just make no. Alright. Let's return target rotation. Sure. Turn just target rotation. Alright. Alright, so right here I got the read only left and right side rotation. It's a returner.identity and this euler. And here I just return if the right and the left it's less or greater than 0. Else just return to the target the current rotation to just avoid return the identity rotation. Now if I press play, see that it's working. It's working pretty good. The velocity, I think it's okay. go. The movement for now is okay. Now I need to make the attack and also the ladder right here. But I don't know what I'm going to do in the next part. Maybe the other states, and later I'll do the ladders. But that's for the next part, and see you there.